Welcome back to Newsmax Now. I'm Miranda Kahn. Washington, D.C. gears up for a visit from Pope Francis next month, and immigration reform may be on his agenda. He'll speak to the public from the Capitol building on September 24th. He's been a fierce critic of immigration policy in the U.S. since becoming the head of the Roman Catholic Church 2 years ago. Donald Trump is blasting Democratic presidential candidate Martin O'Malley for apologizing for saying all lives matter to protesters during an event last month. Speaking on Fox News this morning, Trump called the former governor a, quote, pathetic baby, and saying he had no reason to apologize. 3 construction workers are in the hospital today after a huge explosion at a New York City high school late last night. A gas leak caused the blast to seriously damage the school while it was also in the process of undergoing renovations. 140 firefighters were called to that scene. 2 scuba divers hit the jackpot after finding about 350 Spanish gold coins in a sunken ship. That would never happen to me. The coins are worth more than $4 million, the most valuable find from that shipwreck. Back in 1715, a fleet of ships were sailing from Cuba to Spain when they were destroyed by a hurricane. NASA now says there's no evidence that an asteroid will hit the Earth in September. So calm down, breathe a sigh of relief. The space agency usually ignores such rumors, but it decided to respond after multiple blogs claimed an asteroid was going to destroy our planet. NASA says if that was the case, it would have seen it coming by now. See, now you can relax, John.
I wonder what's going to destroy the Earth faster, the internet or an asteroid. We'll see.
We'll have to see. Well, let's welcome in our Friday roundtable.
Joining us right now today, author and columnist Ellis Henican and political strategist and attorney Chelsi Henry. Thank you both for being with us today.
Happy Friday.
Thanks for having us. Happy
Friday.
Yes.
World is
happy
not
to hear about that
asteroid.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. I guess we have to pay attention to the campaign after all.
Yeah, sorry guys.
But we are going to divert our attention from the campaign for a really inspiring story. Right now.
It's huge, actually. The first women to ever graduate from U.S. Army Ranger School collected their badges this morning as they made history. But with history, of course, also comes commentary. Let's take a listen.
I don't care if that's a male or female. If they have a Ranger tab, I want them next to me.
When you put them in infantry units, you require an entirely different psyche.
Nothing has changed, and these women had to go through the exact same curriculum and the exact same difficulties.
They may have the qualifications, but can they join the regiment?
Now the question is whether they will have different standards for women, Army Rangers, and combat. Ellis, let's start with you. Is combat a different ball game, and would gender make a difference?
No, come on. I can't even believe we're arguing about this. Listen, I go to the gym, and I know you guys do too. There are some, at my gym, I don't know about yours, but there are some women in there who could bench press me 3 times over, you know? Judge people by how they perform. Don't use outmoded stereotypes for deciding what people can and can't do, and celebrate these 2 terrific women for getting through Ranger School.
Chelsi, go ahead. What do you say, Chelsi?
Listen, I agree with Ellis. I think that this is a great day in history, but it's also a great day for us to realize that women can do the things that men can do. I mean, earlier this year, the first woman was sent out on a Navy submarine. The Navy SEALs is looking to open up their team to women. This is a great day in history, and it's a great day for us to realize that women have made contributions and will continue to make contributions that help protect our country. And I'm very, very proud of these 2 women and what they accomplished over the past few months.
All right, I'm going to be the bad guy here in all this, and I want to celebrate, absolutely celebrate what these women did at Fort Benning, Georgia. There's no way I would even, and I've seen the training, there have been documentaries about it, there's no way I would even consider attempting what they are able to do physically. And just like there are a lot of women who could beat me on the tennis court or on the basketball court as well, we're talking about the elite of the elite when it comes to the military, like Major League Baseball or the NBA
so where are you going
or
with
professional
this?
tennis.
Because they prove themselves.
Right, and I'm just, you know, if
But they proved themselves.
They did prove themselves.
Where's the doubt? I mean, why is there still doubt, John? They went through the process. These two women received their black and gold Ranger tab this afternoon, today. So why is there still doubt? They did it. Women can do it. So they went through the training, which is what all the other men have to go through to prove that they're ready to go out to be a part of this elite team. What else do these two women need to prove? They completed training and they graduated today.
Right now, John?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Chelsi. But it's just not, it's not me saying this. That there are still rules against women fighting on the front lines of combat.
And you said you were going to play devil's advocate here. So what's the argument?
I don't know what the military's argument is. I'm just saying there are differences between men and women, and there's a reason why there's a men's World Cup and a women's World Cup and a women's championship at Wimbledon and a men's championship at Wimbledon and a WNBA. I just think there are different levels of ability when you look broad term. There are two women here who are able to reach it. I don't think, though, we're going to see 50-50 men and women on the front lines in combat. And I don't know what the military is going to do. They're talking about changing the policy this fall.
January 1st.
But every combat veteran, and it's not a lot, maybe you can probably count them on one hand, five fingers that I've spoken to. And of course, they're all men. They say they don't want anything to do with women in combat.
And what was their reasoning for that?
It was based on their experience in Iraq or Afghanistan, and they talked about the brotherhood, and it's just a different, they talked about serving with women at base.
Oh, John.
Go ahead, Ellis. Somebody stop me from talking. I'm getting myself in trouble.
John.
Come on.
John, give it up. I mean, I don't even think you believe that. Come on, these people are doing great. They ought to be doing combat. They ought to be doing every single thing they can do. I mean, and we'll talk about the transgender soldiers next time. That'll be even more interesting, I think.
Well, that's a whole other story. No, I think we can admit
it's over, man. It's over.
But let me ask you guys
Give it up. Come on into the 21st century.
Not to gang up on John or his friends, but do you guys think it's going to be changed? That the rules are going to change and these women are going to be allowed to serve in combat? Let's start. Ellis, you think it's going to happen? Chelsi, what do you think?
Of course.
Do you think it's going to happen?
Yes. It's happening. It is happening before our eyes. I mean, it's just a time for those in the military who might side with John's opinion, just like Ellis said, to come up to the 21st century. This is 2015. Again, my question will remain, what else do these women have to prove? They went through the same training. They carried the same load, walked the same miles, climbed the same mountains, went through the same swamps as the men that they graduated with and who have been graduating for years.
All right, well, Chelsi, I'm not going to win this argument, so we'll just stop you right there. We'll move on to the next topic. We'll come back with Ellis and Chelsi. Got more to discuss as well. Please do stay tuned. We're going to take a look at Jeb and the family tradition of fundraising. Is he relying too much on that family name while also trying to distance himself from his brother, especially when it comes to all that baggage? That's what we're going to talk about right after this. Well, before we get back to our roundtable, a special offer for our viewers at home. Donald Trump's Make America Great Again hat has become a sensation. You can get your very own cap for free just by paying shipping and handling right now. Go to newsmax.com/TrumpCap or call 1-800-933-8396. Now back for part two of our roundtable. Rejoining us, Ellis Henican and Chelsi Henry. All right, I'm going to go hide someplace so Chelsi doesn't come after me. Meantime,
That's probably a good idea. That's probably a good idea.
The Rangers are coming.
All right, now we got to get back to the campaign. It's time to talk some turkey. Donald Trump may have no issue with raising money for his campaign, even though he's not really doing that yet. But it looks like presidential candidate Jeb Bush might be a little scared based on who he's asking to help him out, his family. Time magazine reports. In fact, I got the email from W. Isn't that cool? Of course, a lot of people got it. In an attempt to raise money for his 2016 White House bid, Jeb has organized his third major donor conference in Texas with former Presidents George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush headlining that event. The dynastic event is sure to raise big campaign funds, but it's also raising some concerns. Jeb is trying to have this both ways, guys. He wants to distance himself from his brother's policy, but he's also using his brother and father's names to raise money. Chelsi, is this going to be an issue for Jeb?
I don't still think it's an issue, because here's my thing. Yes, Jeb is his own person. I think that he should continue to campaign that way, that, his last name happens to be Bush. But at the same time, when we look at other candidates, for instance, like you were saying about Donald Trump, when it's time to fundraise, he's going to go to all of his buddies, whoever he can tap into to raise funds. And so I think that Jeb is just being smart for tapping into the network that his family has. But I can say this, if I was in his position, I would do the same thing. Being able to fund my campaign and the policies and principles that I stand on, I think are two different things.
But Ellis, isn't this like, if you're out there and you're saying, I'm my own man, I got my own job and everything, but Dad, can you stroke me a check just in case?
I feel like I'm an expert on this topic, to be frank with you, because I have a lot of embarrassing relatives. And one of the
we all do, though, don't we?
I guess we all do, yeah. I don't want to speak for your family, but I'll definitely speak for mine. You got a choice. Either you're going to hide from them and yeah, exactly. They may be. I'm sorry about that, cuz. But either you've got to embrace them and just say, hey, listen, you know what? We all have family, and just kind of give it a shrug, or you have to try to hide them. And I think in the end, it's better to say, you know what? We all have relatives. They don't all turn out exactly like we hoped. And Bush left office with pretty low ratings. I'm talking about W there. And you know what? This is who I am. Bring it on. And hey, if they can help me raise some bucks, I'm happy to have them. So I guess I sympathize.
All right, so we're going to mark this date in history, the time Ellis defended the Bush family. Just going to make a note of it.
Listen, we all have relatives.
That's true.
That is true. Well, I hate to break the news.
As promised, we're going to get to the Oreos now.
Yes,
right?
as promised. I'm sorry to do this on a Friday. It's going to make a lot of people depressed because we thought the day would never come, but it has. The manufacturer of Oreo cookies announced plans to move production of Oreos from Chicago to Mexico. I'm making light of it, but it actually is a pretty big issue that an all-American brand will no longer be manufactured in America. And this move actually will cost 600 U.S. jobs. And here's the reason why. U.S. trade barriers on sugar. Americans are paying twice the cost for sugar. Chicago, one of the largest U.S. cities for confectionery manufacturing. Thank you. Easy for me to say. Has lost nearly 1/3 of its SCP manufacturing jobs over the past 13 years. These losses are attributed in part to high U.S. sugar prices. Ellis, we've been hearing Trump say a lot. Got to give the man credit for this a little bit. He's been saying a lot that we're losing jobs to Mexico and China, and here it kind of seems like he's making his point. Would you agree?
Bunch of whiners. You know what? That's not the reason they're moving. They're moving down there because people have cheaper wages other places. Manufacturing, in the long run, is probably not what America is going to be great at because people work cheaper elsewhere and it doesn't serve us to race to the bottom. So let's come up with smart jobs. Let's learn to build computers. Let's provide services. Let's give technical advice. And maybe we'll even leave the cookie making to the Mexicans. How about that?
I don't know.
Chelsi.
But they're still...
Go ahead, Chelsi.
Well, I think wages, to his point, wages has a part in it. But there also is the point, which this article that we read is talking about the price of sugar and what that looks like. So we just can't say we should just be shipping all of our jobs overseas or across seas. Yes, America has a ton of intellectual people who can be building computers, but we also have people who are, guess what, really good with their hands. And I don't think that we should, allow these different things to allow these jobs to be shipped overseas. There is a place for every industry here in America, and we should be doing what we can to protect jobs at the end of the day. Because based off unemployment rates, blacks still are at 9.6% unemployment, which is twice as white. There's a place for jobs, including manufacturing jobs.
Well, Chelsi, you get the last word. We have to wrap it up there. Ellis and Chelsi, thanks so much for being with us, covering a wide range of topics today. Good to have you both with us, and have a great weekend.
Thanks for having us.
All right, more ahead on Newsmax now. Meet the man who says he knows the key ingredient to boosting our economy, what he says would take to make a difference when it comes to competing against countries like China. You see him right there. Steve Mariotta joins us live next. Still to come in today's Money News, also, U.S. oil prices hit a 6-year low, where they stand now, and the reason for that big drop.